Hi there. This video is meant to be an addition to the Arkham Asylum tips, tricks, and skips video that I made quite a while back. In that video, I detailed most of the tricks and things that speedrunners use to optimize the game and get the fastest time possible, things where you can optimize your fights and skip entire parts of the game altogether. A little bit after that video was made, a whole slew of glitches were discovered, including corner cover zipping, which allows you to skip even more parts of the game. And it's been requested for a while that I make a video sort of detailing in depth how to do these glitches, so I'm going to do it. And I hope this video helps anybody who's looking to do it. Now I'm sorry this is a little bit talky, but I need to explain the difference between frame rates before I get into the glitches themselves, because depending on which version you're playing on, you'll be doing different versions of the zips. So there are two main frame rates you will be playing this game at: 30 FPS frames per second, and 62 FPS. What's the difference? Well, the 30 FPS game, obviously, it runs a little bit slower, it feels a little bit more sluggish, but 62 FPS runs faster. But the frame rate you're playing on all depends on which platform you're playing on. So if you're playing on console, any of the console versions, you are playing at 30 FPS. If you're playing on PC with VSync turned off in the settings, which I would recommend, you'll be playing at 62 FPS. In this video, I'm going to detail both versions of the skips and how to do them, and I'll put a little, thing saying this is the 30 FPS version, this is the 62 FPS version. So that's the version that you should be practicing and using, depending on your system. I'll be performing all of these glitches on the PC version. In the PC version, there's an INI file that you can change to limit your frame rate by the game. The game has a built-in frame rate limiter, and you can change that. So currently I'm running at 30 FPS. So this is what you would do on the console version. But before we get into any of the skips, I want to talk to you about corner cover zipping. That's the main method that we're going to be using to skip all of these different parts of the game. You can see I'm in the medical predator room. This is right after taking out all these guys. This is on hard difficulty, by the way, but this can be done on any difficulty. It doesn't matter. All the difficulties have the same level of skipping things. So I've taken all the guys out, and I'm going to talk to you about zipping before I get into how to actually do this. So in order to reliably do a corner cover zip on any platform, you're going to be taking advantage of explosive gel batarang storage. So these are all sort of complex terms that the people who found these glitches came up with. Essentially what you're going to be doing is you're going to be storing your corner cover state into your batarang weapon. So how do you do this? Well, you're going to be doing it with an explosive gel loophole. Essentially, you're going to be doing it with a glitch that is involved using an animation involving the explosive gel, and you're essentially going to glitch out of corner cover with your batarang and then use it somewhere else. So to do it, the glitch looks like this. Now I've got storage, and if I were to come over here and pull out my batarang with my gel, you can see I activate corner cover storage even though there's no corner to cover. So we'll get out of that, and I'll show you how it's done, and I'll sort of break down the inputs that you'll need to do with this. If you're playing on PC and you're using keyboard and mouse, you'll just need to substitute these for whichever buttons that you have mapped. And I don't know those by default, sorry, I don't play with a keyboard and mouse. So what you're going to be doing is you're going to be doing a quick fire batarang toss, which on a controller is the left trigger. And you're going to be doing explosive gel detonate, which is done by holding left trigger and hitting right bumper. So like that. If you're in corner cover, you can't do it unless you have an explosive gel laid down. So even though I'm doing the input right here, as you can see, it actually grapples me. It doesn't detonate. However, it will detonate if you're partway through a quick fire batarang. So if you're throwing it, you see Batman's animation sort of he throws it, and then he goes back to resting state. And the way you want to time this is you want to do the explosive gel detonation about when his right hand is moving, or sorry, in this case it would be his left hand, is moving back to his side. So as it passes over his knee, that's when I time it. So it goes, and now very quickly I hit left trigger and right bumper, and now Batman, he breaks free of corner cover of his own volition. He's holding his explosive gel up, even though you can see I'm not touching any buttons. If you tap left trigger, he'll put away the explosive gel. Now at this point it's vital that you don't switch to your Batarang unless you're holding left trigger to ready your weapon. If you switch to Batarang right now with no other buttons held, you'll lose the corner cover state, so don't do it. Instead, you want to, when you're going to get ready to deploy your corner cover that you have stored, hold down explosive gel, or it can be any other weapon. So if I've got multi-Batarang, for instance, we hold left trigger, and then we hit up to select our Batarang. And we can put away the Batarang, because now we're in corner cover, but not where we're supposed to be in corner cover. If we threw a Batarang from there, let me just get it again. If I throw a Batarang from a place where we're not supposed to get corner cover, you'll see I actually, I did get the out of bounds accidentally, but you'll see it flings you. Essentially all I did was just throw a Batarang. Now I'm out of bounds, so this is a good time to transition into the actual medical pred room zip. There are two versions of the zip. One of them is the easier version you can do on both 30 and 62 FPS, and then there's the harder version which saves time, but it can only be done on 30 FPS. Let's take a look. So this is going to be detailing the version of the zip, the easier version, that will allow you to completely skip the medical pred room that we're in and go straight down to the Scarecrow bit in the basement. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to be ungrading that grate from the backside, essentially. We're going to be going behind it and opening it up. So what you want to do is you want to leave one guy alive, as you can see. We're going to do our zip, and you're going to deploy corner cover right from where you were at. This is 30 FPS, by the way, but there will be a little thing there. Just throw, and you'll be here. Now once we're here, we're basically going to be going all the way around that elevator shaft, and there's going to be a little vent opening that we'll be able to glide straight to and get into. So you want to give it a little wide berth to control. Dive down a little bit, and we're going to aim straight for that vent, and now we're hanging. Once you do it, climb up, and you'll notice that you're in the elevator shaft. So we'll just grapple on up to the top, and now we can open this vent from the other side. Then you want to come back around, depending on how long you took. You need to go over and find this guy. Just punch him down, and then all you need to do is simply, glide around.
The room's clear. You're safe now.
Get up here, fall down, grapple into the vent that you came in, and once you go a little bit farther, you'll trigger the Dr. Crane cutscene, and now you're down here. So this is the 62 FPS version of the same exact skip. It's going to begin in the same way as if you were doing it 30 FPS. You're going to glide over here, go to corner cover, grab the storage, but then you're going to grapple up to this gargoyle. Now the next bit you've got to do pretty fast in case this guy sees you. What you're going to do is you're going to activate corner cover storage on the gargoyle, you're going to throw your Batarang, and then you'll end up on that little speaker thing. Once you're there, you're going to throw your Batarang again, and it's going to jet you through the wall, and you're going to be in midair. Very quickly, you're going to want to hit the, whatever it is, the button is to cancel your grapple, cancel your corner cover, and then you're going to glide towards that same little vent hole that I showed you before. So you're going to do it, you'll spin around here, wait for Batman to spin around, throw your Batarang. Once you throw it again, quick, hit B, cancel, hit A. You can do detective mode to see a little bit more easily, and then glide and get to the vent. So there we go, and now the rest is the same. Just go ahead and grapple on up. Take out the grate. Find this guy, wherever he may be. And then come over and get up through this grate.
You're safe now.
Fall down and trigger the cutscene by going through the vent again. Alright, now I'm going to show you the slightly harder version that requires 30 FPS, but doesn't require you to open the grate and go through the elevator. Instead, you're just going to glide straight to the trigger in the out of bounds area. Now this is a little bit trickier because your gliding has to be very specific. Once you get out of bounds, you have to glide as close as you can to the elevator shaft and then dive straight down into where the cutscene trigger is, which is right through that little grate that we saw. So in this version, I've already taken out all the guys except for one. However, we're going to take out this last guy, and we have to be somewhat speedy about it. So we're going to spin around, go to our little corner, get out of bounds the other way, but then we're going to glide. Whoops.
You're safe now.
We're going to do the same little glitch, and then cancel, and to glide around, we're going to glide as close as, immediately turning left as close as we can, take a dive bomb straight down, and fall right past that vent, and you should trigger the cutscene. It will take a little bit of practice to get the gliding done. It may be easier with keyboard and mouse, so keep that in mind. But this is the faster version of the glitch because you do not have to go through the elevator shaft twice. It's just much, much speedier. Now that we're down here in the morgue, we are going to be able to skip the Scarecrow, the first Scarecrow encounter almost entirely. You can use the bell skip to skip the second one, and we're going to be zipping past the third one later. So effectively, the only bit of Scarecrow that we're actually going to see is this little part coming up here. Now this is going to be the 30 FPS version of the zip, which is a little bit different than the 62, as per usual. Get out your explosive gel and trigger this cutscene with Gordon. It's unskippable, unfortunately. What we're going to be doing is we're going to be zipping in such a way that the geometry of the level jets Batman up into the sky, and you can then just glide straight to the end of the area. So you're going to get into this corner here and get your corner cover zip. And you're going to run to the end of this hallway. You can use your corner cover and make it a little bit faster. And when you're in corner cover, even if you're not in the corner, you can still, you can sort of chain your corner cover together and use it without, you know, losing it. So come through the morgue, do this as general. I'm going to skip past this so you don't need to watch it.
Father.
So after opening the body bags, the level changes into the Scarecrow mission. Now, the level, I guess, Scarecrow chase sequence doesn't start until you pass a certain point and then climb up a ledge. So we're going to be zipping past all that. Basically, what you're going to be doing is you're going to want to stand about right here. Now, this is where you're going to want Batman's legs to sort of be on either side of this little part in the floor, that little cross in the floor. So go ahead and just get about right here. It doesn't need to be exact, you know, like that, and then press the corner cover button. Give Batman a second to adjust. He'll sort of turn a little bit, and then throw your Batarang. Now you'll be here, and essentially what you've done is you've just gone past this little gap here, but we're not done yet. We need to get up. You can see through this wall here the little searchlight up there. Switch to your explosive gel, throw a quickfire Batarang, and when you throw the second one, you'll launch into the air, cancel your corner cover, and begin your glide. Then just glide over to the searchlight, and you can end it. Now it's important that there are actually walls, there are invisible walls around this area, so make sure you do what I do and glide much higher than the walls themselves. If I take and throw a Batarang, oh well, the walls don't appear for the Batarang, I suppose, but make sure you fly far above the searchlight the way I did. And all you have to do is use it, and you finish the Scarecrow segment. Alright, so now that we're playing on 60 FPS, 62 FPS, excuse me,
I'm sorry.
we're going to basically do a similar kind of zip. We're going to zip to that area and then use the geometry to fling us up in the sky. The execution is a little bit different. So you're going to run down to the end of this hallway. Don't get the corner cover zip before. What you're going to do is you're going to get the corner cover zip in this room. Go ahead and get it from this corner. And this is, you have to make sure you get this before you go into the second room with the body bags, because there is no corner cover. As you can see here, there's no way to do corner cover, because it's sort of a different room. Now you just open the body bags again. I'll skip it. And now that we're up, we're going to get into that same little position with that cross between the tiles, in between Batman's feet, like so. Allow Batman to adjust by holding down left trigger. He's going to turn the other way because we used a different corner. Throw, and now he's in the side of the wall. Now, sometimes it will let you jettison straight up. This time it didn't, so that's good, because we're actually going to keep our corner cover going. And what you want to kind of do is get about right here. So see this broken tile, the one that's sideways, sort of put that corner in between Batman's legs and walk into the rubble. It'll push you back a little bit, but that's where you want to be. Then what you're going to do is in quick succession, which means you're not going to leave Batman time to turn. You're going to switch to your Batarang and throw, and that should jettison you up, kind of like that. Now, switch to your explosive gel. Sometimes it doesn't work. If Batman just kind of jitters here a few times, that means you kind of need to move over a little bit, so we'll try there. Let's actually try... Okay, so that time I did allow Batman to adjust, so sometimes you have luck with different ones, but go ahead and try it both ways, I suppose. In this case, I guess I just had better luck allowing Batman to adjust there. Then throw again once you're on that little wall, and you'll get that height. So make sure you fly way over it so you avoid the invisible walls, and use the searchlight. Now we're going to move to an area much later in the game. This is the Botanical Gardens. This part of the game is after you have completed this little predator room with the bird cages and saved all the guys and taken them all out quickly. And you come up here. Now you're supposed to turn on detective mode, go visit Ivy, which is across there now that you have a line launcher, and then talk to her, go back through the vents, and leave. However, you don't need to do any of that. You can just leave. Now, normally what you would do, if you're not comfortable with this zip, don't worry about it, is you can just go ahead and leave without visiting Ivy. Just go through that door. Once you get to the other side of that door, do a checkpoint restart, and the game will allow you to pass. But, if you're feeling ballsy, you can skip all that. This is the garbage skip, we call it, because there's all this garbage here that is in the pathway that you used to come through, but it's all in the way. So instead, we're going to get our little corner cover there. There's a small little corner made in the geometry between this flower pot and that little brick rubble there that you can jam yourself into. And what you're going to want to do is, without using your gel, You're going to want to get into that, make one step to the left, just like tap it, and then in quick succession, pull out your gel, switch, and throw. And what that'll do is it'll place you on top of this little flower bed here. And then you're going to need to climb this little thing. So all you need to do is just sort of wiggle yourself around until the game lets you climb, holding down the run button, of course. And then climb up. Now, on some versions of the game, I've been told that there is no invisible floor here that you're going to run on. Just run like this. And you can run through this and just keep running, and then you'll get past the rubble. I've been told that that invisible floor does not exist on some versions of the game. So if that doesn't work on your PlayStation 3 or Xbox 360 version, I apologize, but there's nothing I can do about that. I can't really test it, but if it doesn't work, again, I'm sorry, you will just not be able to do that version of the skip. To do the skip on 62 FPS, the execution is the same, but it's going to take a little bit more doing to get back into the bounds of the game, because it'll fling you pretty far. So, whoops. My timing's not very good here. There we go. So you're going to execute the glitch in the same exact way. You're going to jam here, take a step to the left, and then, in quick succession, pull out the gel, switch to Batarang, and throw without giving time for Batman to adjust. But you're going to be flung sort of outside the map, and so once you get flung outside the map, you'll very quickly want to get out of corner cover and start gliding so that you can land on top of this little thing here. So do it. Whoops. Not good placement. If you don't get good placement, that'll happen. So like that. So essentially, there's a small little hesitation window where you know that the game, if Batman sort of hesitates and gets stuck on that frame for a second, then you know that you've got the glitch and you should get ready to cancel your corner cover and glide. And all I did was hit circle and X, or I guess B button and A button on Xbox 360 controller, because I'm playing with a PS4 pad. And then you land on this little invisible thing here. All you need to do to get back in bounds is to glide past this little area. Sometimes Batman will climb on some parts of the level, but you don't need to worry about that. He should get right back in bounds. Once you're preparing to leave the Botanical Gardens, what you're going to want to do, skip this cutscene, you're not going to go to Aaron Cash's mansion.
Similar spores to the ones
Aaron Cash in the mansion. I suppose it's not his mansion.
They're deadly.
Instead, you're going to want to come straight over here to Arkham North. Now, in previous runs, what you would do is you would just get up there and go into intensive treatment the normal way. And this would lead you to do a Predator room. You would do Scarecrow, the third final Scarecrow. Instead, what you're going to want to do is come over here and get into the caves. The reason this skip works is because the trigger to do Killer Croc exists in the game, but you can't physically get to the caves because there are vines blocking every single entrance to the caves at this point. But with a handy little thing called corner cover zipping, you can get past it. So on 30 FPS, take a corner cover here. Whoops. Just like that. You can see that here are the vines that you can't get past because, you know, devs put them there to block the way, essentially, and make you do the game their way. All you have to do is jam yourself into a corner here, give Batman a second to adjust, and this will turn your screen black. Once it does, all you have to do is throw the Batarang, and you will zip straight past the vines, at which point you can proceed down into the caves and go straight down into Killer Croc's lair. For the 62 FPS version of the skip, you're not going to get your corner cover here. Instead, you're going to run past, get your corner cover here. Then once you've got that, switch to your line launcher. You're going to want to jam yourself into this corner here. You can see there's a little pipe here, so you want to get on the right of that if you're looking at it. Then you're going to line launch onto the top of this barbed wire here. The way I line it up is you want the bottom arrow of your line launcher thing to be above that bar in the barbed wire fence. Don't press any buttons and Batman will get on top. Then you're going to allow Batman to get into position once you trigger the corner cover storage. This time, however, you're not going to want to hit right trigger to throw. Instead, what you're going to want to do is hit the quick fire battering again. And if you're playing on PC, where your quick fire battering button is separate from your switch to battering button, or if it's double tap your battering button, let go of your aim button right before you do it. If you're on controller, all you have to do is just tap. It works really consistently. I can't do it every single time, but that skip is pretty consistent. So once you're past that, you're free to go and fight Croc.